You're live with me, TSV, and I'm always everywhere you want to be. And if you know me by now, if you've been watching like I know you have, y'all know where I am. I'm not out and about tonight. I am in my studio room that I call Tigo, Tiffany's Ego. That's where I am tonight, chatting it up with you. So I hope you all have been having a great day. I know where I am. It's been a little dreary today. It's been rainy. My people that are in Virginia have had rainy day as well, or rainy last 2 days as well. But I hope you've been having a great day. I know I have, y'all, because I'm on spring break. I am on spring break. Now, listen, your girl had a lot of plans. She had a lot planned, right? So I plan to maybe go to New York or go to Vegas or go somewhere. But listen, I ain't do none of that. Then I plan to do a few, like take some time into DC. I did none of that because why? I am tired. So I decided to rest. So what I've been doing over my spring break is resting. So my spring break started a little bit early for my teacher friends. They were wondering, where was Vincent? Vincent ain't in the building. Vincent not here. We ain't seen her. We ain't heard her. Because last week I had the pleasure of going home a little bit early before my spring break actually started. My mommy, um, the Honorable Mayor LaWanda Vincent Tatum, my light is falling, y'all, told me, she ain't asked me, she told me that I was coming home for the first annual or the inaugural. Why do I have a problem with that word? And I've been trying to say it. I've been having a problem with that word. But anyway, the first ever Innovate Her Women in Business conference that took place right in my beautiful hometown of Lawrenceville, Virginia. That's in Brunswick County. If y'all don't know where that is, that's like nestled in between South Hill, Virginia and Emporia, Virginia, like 45 minutes away from Petersburg. That's where I was. So sorry for my peeps in Billingsley, my Billingsley people. I had to leave because duty called. I was on daughter duty for the last few days or the end part of last week. And let me tell y'all, I had a pleasure. It was a pleasure to be at home on daughter duty with my mom and to be able to love up on my family, my nephew. I got to spend time with my nephews. I got to spend time with my Trini. I call Trin my niece, but y'all know she's not my first cousin. She's my second cousin. But not only did I get to see Trin, I got to see my girls Serenity and Kennedy. Serenity and Nene. Nene is my first baby. But Nene got babies now, y'all. Who is Nene? That's my little cousin. But she's grown. But she always gonna be my little cousin. So I got a chance. I took the time on Friday evening. Oh no, was it Thursday? It was Thursday evening. I took the time on Thursday evening to go down and spend some time with them. And it was so good to see my girls. We didn't do much. We just talked and I watched a little bit of TV with Nee. And me and her girls, we talked and we played. Kennedy served me tea. And I'm telling you, y'all know I'm a tea drinker. I'm not a coffee drinker. And that was the best tea that I ever had, even though it was pretend. But it was the best tea I ever had. So I loved and enjoyed spending time. I got some in my eye, y'all. Spending time with my family. I got to love up on my nephews. Y'all know my boys on my heart and my brother. I loved on my brother first because, like, y'all know my brother's a big baby. He was like, "You want to scratch my head?" And y'all know I scratched his head. I did that Wednesday night, I think, when I first got home. But it was so good to spend time with my family. I got my aunt Renee. She's in a recovery, like in a nursing home, but she's recovering just well. I went and busted her out. I got the chance to spend some time with her on Friday when I went up to the school to see my nephew for field day. I got to see some friends, some people I hadn't seen in a long time. Shout out to my longtime friend, Mr. Davis. I know he on here. He should be on here. He was talking junk. Um, but I got a chance to see my friends, and I had a great time. I just had a good time being at home. But this is Women's Appreciation Month, and you heard me say that I went to the first ever Innovate Her Women in Business conference held right in my hometown of Lawrenceville, Virginia. And let me tell y'all, if y'all didn't go, all of those who are in Brunswick County or in Lawrenceville or the surrounding areas, if y'all did not go, you missed out on a treat. I don't have my pamphlet in front of me because I actually left it in Virginia, because I was going to run down the name of the amazing women that were panelists that spoke out, that or speakers. But I'm telling y'all, I left away with a wealth of knowledge. And Brunswick County has some heavy hitters. Y'all sleep on Lawrenceville, Virginia, and what we not doing, and they not doing this, and they not doing that, or when is this gonna happen, or when is this coming, and that ain't coming. And I'm not just saying this because my mom is the mayor, because my mom is the mayor of Lawrenceville. Everybody thinks she's the mayor of Brunswick County, but she's just the mayor of Lawrenceville. And I'm not just saying that because she is the mayor of Lawrenceville. I'm saying it because it has been some people put in place that's going to put Lawrenceville, Virginia on the map as we speak. Like it's going to put Lawrenceville on the map. So Alfreda Jarrett Reynolds, she spearheaded the whole thing with a young lady named Holly. Holly is married to the man, she has a husband that's the head of the Metropolitan Business League. And if you don't know about the Metropolitan Business League, I'm telling you, go ahead, Google it and look it up now. It's an amazing opportunity for small people in business, small business, helping to bring your business to life. They help with grant writing, they help find money, they help you do everything you need to do. So shout out to Miss Reynolds. I was going to call her Miss Drake. Shout out to Miss Reynolds for putting an amazing, and Miss Holly for putting together an amazing event. One of my friends, my sister friends, somebody I don't have to talk to them all the time for you to be my sister friend, but I love this girl, like woman. She's a woman. I love her so much. She was a panelist on last Thursday. Crystal Hubbard. I was gonna call her, well, Crystal Alexander. Doctor, excuse me. Let me put some spec on her name. Dr. Crystal um, Alexander. She is amazing. This young lady, if you ever got a chance to meet her or listen to her story, I'm telling you, it will motivate you so much. But she started off in nursing when she was in high school. I'm not going to tell her story. And if you look back, if you look at one of my tips talks last year for Women's Appreciation Month, I actually had Crystal on here. So you'll know her. I'm not going to give her whole story away, but just know that the Dr. Crystal Alexander did a great job. When she saw me come in, she was like, Tiff, y'all speaking too. I ain't no speaker. No, ma'am, I'm not speaking this year. But you never know what's going to come up next year. But she has a health and wellness center, A plus health and wellness center in Colonial Heights, Virginia. And I'm telling you, it's great. A lot of women have heard of Renew Me or Renew Wellness Center. And Crystal, her center is something like Renew. And it's Black owned, y'all. Woman owned. So if you're looking for those type of services, she helps with weight loss, cosmetics. She doesn't do like cosmetic surgery, but she helps with cosmetics. She does have Botox. She has something like Ozempic, but not really Ozempic. But go ahead, check her out and head over to her website. That's A Plus Lifestyle website, or apluslifestyle.com. But I was so proud of her for being on that panel. Then we had the amazing, incomparable Shelby Brown. Shelby is a former news reporter, or I'm not going to say former because I think she's still on the news now, on Channel 8 in the Virginia area, when that's ABC. She was a panelist, and Shelby has a new coffee shop in Lawrenceville. If you have not checked it out, go ahead and check that out. It's called Storytime Cafe. Why did it leave my mind for a second? But Shelby has a coffee shop called Storytime Cafe where you can come in, have a cup of coffee, eat your little scone. I heard she got some good soup. Even though it's getting warmer, we eat soup year round. Get you a scone or two. and just be able to relax and feel at home to tell your story. Siobhan Newell, she was there. She was a panelist on the second round. And then it was a lady who I can't remember her name, but this woman was a power player because she had her own petroleum, like she owned her own petroleum company. How many of you know somebody that owns a petroleum company? And then if you do know that they're a woman and they are a black woman, that just being in that room around the table with so many women who were shutting down and doing the thing in business was inspiring and empowering. And it made me say, okay, Tiffany, you gotta stop talking and you gotta do, girl. You gotta observe to do. Cause y'all know I talk a good game. I talk a lot. And I say what I am gonna do, and a lot of things I am doing, but they just inspire me to do more. So if you missed out on one last Thursday at the Innovate Her Women's Conference in Lawrenceville, you missed out on a treat. I also was able to sit down with Mike King himself. I call him Mr. Mike King. He was like, "Don't call me Mr." But it's just the Southern in me. Like my mama raised me with respect. I call everybody sir and ma'am, and you know. But I got a chance to sit down with Mike King on the mic with Mike. He is a radio personality on ESPN Richmond. So you can check me out on that show. And then he did an interview with me, and you can check that out tomorrow. I'll be posting on YouTube, and I'll send out the link to my YouTube channel for you to check out my interview with him. Then Mr. King realized that me and my sister were the mayor's daughter, and he went and got my mom and took over my show. But you know what? I ain't even tripping. I didn't trip off of Mr. King taking over my show because it's all good. He owes me another show, and I'll take over his show. But it was just so good. They had a photographer there doing headshots. It was just a real good time. The food was good. The atmosphere was good. And I was glad to be able to do something in Lawrenceville. And even though I live in Maryland now, I was excited for the women in the area and the entrepreneurs and the business players, the movers and shakers in the area, because oftentimes we'll have to go to Richmond, or we have to go to Raleigh, or we have to come up to Northern Virginia or Norfolk or Hampton or even all the way to DC to get the wealth of knowledge that we gained sitting right in the room in good old Lawrenceville, Virginia. So again, Miss Reynolds and Miss Holly, I greatly appreciate everything you did. I thought that was that day was beautifully put together. And if anyone sees her, let her know that Tiffany, I told her already, but let her know Tiffany said, great job, beautiful job. And I cannot wait until next year. Also, over the weekend, I got a chance to hang out with my mom more. We took my cousin Carlisha and my aunt Renee out for their birthdays. We went to Texas Roadhouse on Friday, and I got a chance to hang out with my nephew on Friday and my baby nephew, who loved on me more this time. The last time, my baby Jamarcus, he won't having it for me. But I think it was because of my hair. Ladies, have y'all ever changed your hair and then like a baby or a little kid don't recognize you? And I'm like, it wasn't that serious, but to him it was. Because the last time, most of the time when Jamarcus sees me, I have a bob, maybe a little pixie cut. But the last time I went home, I had some twists. And my boy was not feeling me. But this time when I came home, I had a ponytail and then I got my little bob done. Y'all like my bob? Bobbiani is back, baby. I was so excited to get my hair done by my girl Brittany. She did a great job. But this time my nephew was more taken to me. So I did that on Friday, and on Saturday, me and my mama took a hike, just a little hike, to her alma mater, Virginia Union University in Richmond, Virginia, where we went to the third annual James Solomon Russell St. Paul's Museum and Archives dinner. Oh, it was so good. I was gonna call y'all boys and girls. Like I'm still in teacher mode, y'all. Get that out of here. We still on spring break, Tiff. But I got an opportunity to be in the room with some more heavy hitters, some more movers and shakers, great networking opportunity. And I was glad to be at the table with the people that I was at the table with. I got a chance to have dinner with Miss Darlene Brown, principal over at Sotera Elementary School. Someone who grew up kind of like a big sister to me or a god sister, Mashonda. I was gonna call her. I can't remember Mashonda's married name, but she's a teacher as well, and two other teachers that were like Teacher of the Year, and they helped to make things happen in the county. It was just good to be around them and sit at the table with them. And then so y'all know me. I have met a lot of people. I've interviewed a lot of people. I've had the pleasure of shaking hands and even getting kisses on the cheek and with a whole lot of people, celebrities, politicians, producers, directors. I don't toot my horn too much about that. I just let my work speak for itself. But and I never fan out. I even interviewed my favorite singer, Music Soul Child, back in the day, like in back in 2009. I did not fan out, but y'all, I almost had a fangirl moment because one of my favorite politicians ever in life. I got a chance to meet him. I got a chance to hug him, and I took a picture with him. If you did not see what I put on my, I was gonna say Twitter, but I'm not. I'm not on Twitter. On TikTok, I put it on Instagram and Facebook. If y'all didn't see it, I got the chance to meet the Honorable L. Douglas Wilder. Mr. Wilder was the first African American governor, not just of the state of Virginia, but overall since the Reconstruction era. And he was my favorite growing up. I'm telling y'all, I loved L. Douglas Wilder. My mom can tell you, I don't know if she's on here or not, but my mama could tell y'all, I loved L. Douglas Wilder when I was growing up. He was the governor from 1990 to 1994. So that was like my era when I was in elementary school and we were learning about him. And I just loved him so much. So when I saw him get up and speak, I was like, oh my God, that's L. Douglas Wilder. And let me tell you, he's 93 years old, but baby, he gives a good speech. And for him to be 93, he is in very good health, very quick, very witty. And it was just an honor to meet the Honorable L. Douglas Wilder on last Saturday. It really made my day. And I'll be talking about that for a long time. Like, y'all know, I've interviewed some people, I've met some people, but it was nothing like meeting L. Douglas Wilder. And maybe that's the geek in me. I don't know. Maybe that's the geek in me. But it was great. It was a great time to meet him. So, if you didn't, or if you were not able to go to that, I'm sorry that you missed out on a treat with that. But that goes to show you for all my Brunswickians and St. Paul's College alumna, that goes to show to stay on top of things and get your tickets to go next year. Every year around the same time. So be on the lookout for that. Speaking of St. Paul's College, I want to give a shout out to Mr. Chris Stevenson and his team. They are bringing St. Paul's College back. And I think I talked about it, and no, that's not why I have on orange and black, but I got on my Mama the Power One shirt for multiple sclerosis. I would pull my camera down, but child, everything around me ain't right. And his team. I say Chris Stevenson because he is in the forefront, but I know that he has a team of people that work tirelessly with him to bring back St. Paul's College. Now, it may not be coming back in the form of which we know it, but it is going to be a leadership institution. So stay tuned for more information on that. If you're looking for a good place to sow, if you're looking for a good place to donate to, if you're looking for, you sometimes we do it as a tax write-off, but if you need something to donate to, be sure to donate to the St. Paul's College funds, the scholarships fund, and all of that good stuff. And I can give you more information about that on a later date. But shout out to them for working so hard to give us a piece of home. Just bring back a piece of home, and I'm excited to see what is going to come from that leadership. Institution. On Sunday, I got a chance to fellowship. There we go. I'll go to my hometown, my home church, Cedar Grove, or I will go to Tabernacle. But this week, this past Sunday, I got a chance to worship with my cousin Carlicia at Mason Grove Baptist Church. And I want to just give a shout out to Mason Grove, to Pastor Northington and First Lady Belinda Northington for putting on an amazing event where they honored women in history and for Women's Appreciation Month. And one of the women that they honored was my mommy, the Honorable LaWanda Vincent Tatum, mayor, first African American, first female, and second African American mayor in my hometown of Lawrenceville, Virginia. They honored Leslie. I can't remember Leslie's last name. They uh, honored Miss Mangrum from Brunswick County. They honored Jackie Seward Mangrum. No, Jackie Seward. Um, and there was another woman that they honored from the Brunswick County area for being the first. But let me tell you, it's a judge. I can't remember her name. She's in North Carolina, and she was the first African American appointed to not clerk of court. Lord, I don't want to get it wrong, but so I'm not going to tell you her information. I'll come back and put it under the under in my book. In my book, I'm going to put it in my comments who she was. She wasn't a preacher, but let me tell you, that woman, she brought it on home. And it was such a pleasure to be in the house with so many powerful women. So shout out to, again, First Lady Northington for putting on and even thinking to put on an event of that magnitude. So that was my weekend. Very full, right? So it sounded like that was my whole spring break, but my spring break was just starting. So because I did all that, I had to come home and rest. So I've been resting, and lo and behold, y'all, this sciatic nerve of mine has been acting up. So if you're watching, right now I'm good. But last night, baby, when I tell you that thing was hurting like crazy, I could not sleep. I tossed and turned and tossed. And really, I didn't go to sleep till about 7:45, like get a full hour or two of sleep until about 7:45 this morning. And I saw some good comments on things to do about my sciatic nerve. So keep them coming in if you have any information about what I can do for my sciatic nerve. Please keep it coming in and letting me know. I'm not sure what happened there, but I'm back and in full effect. But like I said, if you have more information about what I can do for my sciatic nerve, please send the information my way. But like I said, this is Women's Appreciation Month, and we want to talk more about that. But what I also want to talk about is multiple sclerosis. You all know that the month of March is Multiple Sclerosis Awareness Month. And on last Friday, I had the pleasure of going orange in honor of all of those multiple sclerosis warriors, especially for my sister Ashley. So if anybody that has been following me since I started Tips Talk knows that my family is my heart, right? Y'all know that. My siblings are like my babies, even though they're grown. And you also know that my sister Ashley was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis on August 3rd of 2020. So some of you all, you've heard me talk about it. If you've been following me, you've heard me talk about it time and time again. But for those who haven't, let me tell you a little bit about what multiple sclerosis is. Multiple sclerosis is a progressive autoimmune disease or illness that affects the nerve cell in the brain and the spinal cord. Uh, the body's the body immune cells attack the tissue called the myelin. Some people, it says the myelin or the myelin sheath, um, and it surrounds and protects the nerve. That's what it's supposed to do. But for people who have multiple sclerosis, that nerve is not protected because the body looks at those things as foreign objects and it attacks itself. The myelin becomes damaged or inflamed, and it interrupts the nerves and the nervous signals to the body to fight that off or protect your body. So you're susceptible to more illnesses. And with multiple sclerosis, there is no cure for it yet, even though, as someone who is a multiple sclerosis champion or cheerleader, there are natural things that you can do, but I'm not going to get into the natural or holistic paths that you can take to help with your body. I'm not even going to talk too much about the things that you can take if you have multiple sclerosis, because I don't want to give you any false information. And y'all be like, Tiffany told me to do da 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 da, and it didn't work for me. I'm going to tell you that everything is not going to work for everybody because it's so hard to cure multiple sclerosis because it affects everybody different. It affects everybody different, but everybody different. So some things that may work for my sister may not work for you, and some things that work for you may not work for the next person. As we have been on this multiple sclerosis journey, I've met a lot of people who have MS, and I have met a lot of people who were diagnosed with MS after my sister. And I have people in my life that I love that are um, overcoming MS. That's not just my sister, like my friend Izzy from college. He has MS, and I have a friend Victoria from college who has MS, and I have a friend that I went to school with back in middle and high school, and I didn't know she had MS, but she does because it affects everyone differently. A friend of the family, Jennifer Nicholson, has MS. Um, a friend of the family, or who is like family, um, they have MS. So it affects everybody different, and you would never know. Multiple sclerosis, the autoimmune disease or deficiency, it's called a silent disease or an invisible disease because to look at people, you wouldn't know. So oftentimes with MS, you'll think of one extreme or another. But there's such a wide array of things or what MS looks like. Because some people, when they hear MS, I know when I heard it with my sister, and before I did my research or whatever, I was like, oh my God, MS. It ain't no cure to that. Oh my God. Or even when we were telling people, when we started to tell people that Ashley was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, they were like, oh, multiple sclerosis. It was such a big gas, but when I tell you that you can be diagnosed with multiple sclerosis and live a full, healthy life. You can be diagnosed with multiple sclerosis and still have children, and still work, and still maintain. And you can have multiple sclerosis and not be able to do any of that. It just depends on how the disease affects your body. I know some people who have multiple sclerosis who were never able to have children, and I know some people with multiple sclerosis that have a lot of kids. I know some people that have multiple sclerosis that tell you, okay, go ahead, get pregnant and get off your medication because your body does better while you're pregnant. So it just depends on who you are. With multiple sclerosis, it affects women more than men, but some men are still affected by it as well. Back in the day, multiple sclerosis was known as a white woman's disease and affected people within the age range of like 25 to 52. But now those things have changed. It has changed drastically. So let me tell you some symptoms that you can look for, or signs that you can look for that you may have multiple sclerosis. Sudden vision loss. And that's what happened with my sister. For all of those who don't know, my sister Ashley was declared legally blind in June of 2020. She was declared legally blind. They did not know what was going on, and that's what happened with her. Her vision declined and diminished quickly. Like, I don't want to tell her story, but she should have been on here telling it, but I digress. I'm gonna get her on here one day. But so what happened with my sister Ashley is her vision started diminishing in May of 2020. And from the middle of May to the beginning of June, it declined like that. And she suffered fatigue, which is extreme fatigueness, which is another sign of multiple sclerosis, that you may have multiple sclerosis. But with her, I'll never forget. We were on the way. It was my birthday, June 3rd. We were on the way to. I decided that I wanted to buy a car for my birthday. So we were going to CarMax, and we were going to the CarMax off of Midlothian. For all my Virginia people, y'all know Midlothian has a lot of lights. And we got to the light right in front of CarMax, and my sister started to cry. She was like, Tiffany, I cannot see the colors of the light. And I'm like, what do you mean? She said, I cannot tell if the light is red, if it's yellow, or if it's green. And I'm like, oh my God. So my cousins met us at CarMax, and they came to get my sister, and I proceeded to buy my car. And her vision would come and go, but there were times when she could not see at all. That June, like later on in the month, until we figured out what was going on, that's when she was like, I want to say June, like the second week or third week in June. That's when she was declared legally blind. She went to optometrist, ophthalmologist, and it wasn't until we went to a neuro ophthalmologist that suggested that she get an MRI, because looking at her eyes, here's the thing with multiple sclerosis, everything looks normal. And they're like, oh, you have beautiful eyes. You're beautiful, this, that, and the other. And she knew something was wrong, to the point where um, every morning she would wake up, and I was like, what I look like? You can see me? Because honestly, she was scared that she was going to go completely blind. Um, and she started to, I know one day she started nesting like was going to have a baby. I knew she wasn't having a baby. And I knew we weren't moving at the time. So she started like really putting things away in the room and telling me this is where this is, and Jaden's stuff is here, and my stuff is here. And I'm like, okay. Not knowing that my sister was preparing herself to go blind, because she just knew that she was going to go blind. That's how bad it was. She started counting how many steps it would take for her to get to the bathroom, how many steps it took her to get to the kitchen in our house, in the living room, because she was preparing to go blind. And when I say that, you know, God came in and showed up and showed out, it was a trying time for her. Like I said, she was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis on August 3rd of 2020. She did have to go through double rounds of steroids, and that she had to give herself like 20 steroids at a time. And the first round did not take as well. The second round did take. And she went from having, I want to say, 16 or 18 active lesions on the brain, 2 active lesions on the spine, to having no more active lesions, to having no more active lesions on the brain, nor active lesions on the spine. And she went from being legally blind to being able to see. She still has problems with her central vision, but we're believing that God can heal all things. So that's what we stand on belief with. But if you know anyone, or if you are a MS champion or MS cheerleader, you have someone in your life that you're supporting. I'm telling you, gives you a whole different meaning on care. We don't want to say we're caregivers, but to helpers. It takes a whole new meaning on being a helper, for if you're helping someone with multiple sclerosis, because you just never know. Because one day they're fine and the next day they're not. But anyway, back to symptoms of multiple sclerosis. I said sudden vision loss, clumsiness, slurred speech, tiredness, muscle weakness, trouble walking, and loss of bladder issues, amongst other things. Those are just to name a few things that, or a few symptoms that come along with multiple sclerosis. Multiple sclerosis can hit you in many different ways, but those are just a few. Most of the time, in order to detect that you do actually have multiple sclerosis, you have to have an MRI. An MRI helps to show if you have MS, because it shows the lesions that can be on your brain or on your spinal cord. Now, I want to talk a little bit to people of color who are dealing with multiple sclerosis, because it's just become a thing. I mean, people of color have been getting multiple sclerosis forever, but like I said, it was thought of as being a white woman's disease, but that's because we as Black people don't go to the doctor. So we may have vision loss, we may feel dizzy, we might feel the tingling or numbness or sharp pains, and we just brush it off. We don't think about what it could be. But a study done in neurology found out that Black people had a 47% increased risk of MS. With people of color, there is more disability over time and the quickness of the progressing. And that's because, like I said, one, we don't go to the doctor, and two is because of the inequity and the biasness in the health system. And that's a whole different subject, a whole different story that I don't have time to talk about medical apartheid, but y'all know it's real, especially for women who are having babies and all. But I digress with that. So oftentimes when we get multiple sclerosis, it goes undiagnosed or untreated. And then there's sometimes when people go to the doctor and they're like, oh, it's nothing. Well, we don't see anything wrong, but you know your body. As a person who is an MS champion, I will always tell you from talking to multiple people that have multiple sclerosis, you have to know your body, but not only know your body, you have to listen to your body. I know a person who was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, not going to tell their story, but it's a young lady, young African American young lady. And she was having signs and symptoms since she was like 16 or 17 years old. And she went to doctor after doctor after doctor, and they said that it was nothing wrong until about a year or two. She finally got a MRI, and that's where they showed what multiple sclerosis showed up, or lesions on the brain and the spine. So you have to know your body. Listen to your body. Nobody knows your body better than you. So if there's something that you feel that you have going on, go to the doctor and see about it. And if that doctor say, "Oh, it's nothing," or "Oh, it might not be," or "It could be," go back and go get a second opinion and a third opinion, and then go to specialists, because nobody knows your body the way you know your body. Now, talking about MRIs, I know oftentimes if you are a MS champion, or if you know anybody with MS, or if you even see people talking about Multiple Sclerosis Awareness Month, which is in March, the color is orange, you oftentimes see a butterfly associated with that. And it's not just when you see me posting something about multiple sclerosis and you see a butterfly, it's not just because Tiffany loves butterflies, because I do. I love butterflies. But it's not just because I love butterflies. But the reason why the butterfly is associated with multiple sclerosis is because of the way the brain looks when they have the MRI, and when you find multiple sclerosis in the brain, when you do the scan, it actually looks like a butterfly in your head. That's why the symbol for multiple sclerosis is the butterfly. So let's talk a little bit more about multiple sclerosis. So oftentimes you have when you have multiple sclerosis, you can have a flare up, and it's also called a relapse. And a flare up or a relapse is something that people who have multiple sclerosis oftentimes go through. It comes on suddenly out of nowhere. Well, I'm not going to say out of nowhere, because some people who have flare ups can say they can feel it coming on, and some people say that they don't. But here are a few things to help you if you're going through a flare up with multiple sclerosis. Sleep. If you feel like you're very fatigued, and I'm not just talking about, oh, I'm tired because I worked a lot, like it's an extreme fatigue that takes you down, that's a sign that you may be getting ready to have a flare up. So one thing that you can do to combat that is to get more rest. Another thing that may that you can tell that you're about to have a flare up is numbness. And as I was studying, a thing that can help with the numbness or combat that is acupuncture. Now this is a big one. You have to know your people, and people, you have to know your body. Depression. Um, Depression is a major sign when it comes to multiple sclerosis, or someone who's dealing with multiple sclerosis. And it's not just depression is not good for anyone. Like anybody who's going through and battling depression, it can be hard. No, not can be. It is a hard feat. But you have to know the people that you're around. You have to know your people that have multiple sclerosis, so you can be able to help them with that. That was something that we dealt with Ash. She went through a great depression, and we're like, no, no, this is not just depression. This is MS from MS, because MS deals with multiple sclerosis, deals with the nerves, as an attack on the nervous system and nerves and emotions and all that good stuff. Like when you have MS, no one can literally get on your nerves. Like, oh, you getting on my nerves. I think someone who had multiple sclerosis came up with that. Now that I don't know if it's true or not. That's just a tip observation, but they cannot literally have anything to get on their nerves. But if you are battling with depression and you have multiple sclerosis, be sure to have people in your corner that you can turn and talk to and tell them what's going on and how you feel so you can work through it and process it, because it can last. It's not just a momentarily thing. And some people who never dealt with depression a day before in their lives, when they get diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, they deal with great depression. And if you don't know your people, you're not going to know, oh, that's an MS sign. And another thing that can help, will tell you that you're about to flare up, and these are just a few signs and symptoms, is vision loss or blurry vision, and having balance issues. And if you are having that, steroids can actually help with that. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say push steroids, because it's only a temporary fix. There are some holistic things that you can do. And if you want to know those holistic things that you can do for multiple sclerosis, hit me up in my inbox and we'll talk about that on a later or a different tip, because I'm not going to be like, oh, Tiffany said to do, and Tiffany said to smoke, or Tiffany said to. I'm not going to say that. But you can hit me up in my inbox if you're interested in knowing some holistic pathways that you can go on for your multiple sclerosis healing. Having a balanced diet helps with that, exercise, but with some people, they have to pick and choose how they exercise, because if you're like my sister, like, you can't get overheated. Some people can't get overheated. That's another thing with multiple sclerosis, is your body temperature. Some people cannot get overheated. If my sister gets overheated, her vision goes away, and y'all know that's a lot for my girl, because she loves to dance and she's the life of every party. But she had to learn to pace herself so her vision would not leave when she wouldn't get too hot, so her vision wouldn't leave. Some people cannot be too cold. If they get too cold, then their body will tense up, their body will lock up. Some people, if they get too hot or too cold, they can't walk. So like I said, it affects everybody differently. So those are just a few things that can help if you are going to have a flare up. Also, having a great medical team, having a great family and support system that helps you along the way. Oftentimes people say, well, what can we do if Ash has a flare up, or if if someone I love has a flare up, or if someone I know love is going through multiple sclerosis. The best thing you can do is be there for them and assist them in the way that they need to be assisted, because some people may be having a real bad fatigue. They may be extremely tired, and all they need for you to do is come and check on their child and make sure they eat, and so they can rest. Or some people may need assistance because they wake up this morning and they can't walk. So they may need assistance cleaning, or going to take them somewhere, or doing something for them in that manner. Or some people may need you to take them to a doctor's office, or some people may just need you to be there to talk, and not talk about multiple sclerosis, not talk about how your body is feeling today. They just may need someone to talk, and listen to them, crack a joke with them, share a moment with them, because at the end of the day, if you don't have it and I don't have it, you don't know how they feel. You don't know what it feels like to wake up and not know if you're going to be able to walk today. Thank God that's not, my sister, or I don't have any people that are really, really close to me that I know with MS that affects them that way. But there's some people who don't know from day to day if they can walk, or some people don't know from day to day if they're going to be able to see. So just to be a listening ear to them, to be a support system to them, to be a cheerleader for them, to be able to cook them a meal, to be able to take them somewhere, or like me and my sister used to do. I was there for my sister to the point when she couldn't see, and we would still go out, right? Um, we'll be walking in the grocery store, and people will walk up on us. Everybody knew us, and we knew everybody because we used to work at the only restaurant in town, Pino's. So she'd be like, Tiff, who was that? Because it'll be people walking toward her saying, hey. And so I'll just get close to her and I'll be like, Ash, that's the Rylands, or Ash, that's Miss Tiffany. Mr. Brown, or Ash, that's Miss White, or, before they come. Sometimes that's what you have to do for them. So they'll feel just as good or normal as they do any other time. Um, so use wisdom, use sensitivity, and use grace. Another thing I would say is if you have someone who has multiple sclerosis, now you don't have to be like me. Y'all know Tiffany, I'm a geek. I like knowledge. I like to know things, so I research. I probably know I probably know just as much as my sister knows about multiple sclerosis because I researched it. And you don't have to be like me. You don't have to be a researcher and go find from here to there and everywhere looking up things and getting information on it. But I would encourage you to know a little bit about the disease that your loved one is going through so you can help them, so you can be of assistance to them. And I'm here if you need me. My sister will be here if you need me. She's not on social media. She's not on Facebook anymore. She is on Instagram and TikTok and all that good stuff. So those are just a little bit of information about multiple sclerosis. I've given you a plethora throughout this month and the past 2 to 3 years, because I've been doing this for the last few years. If you want to support someone, I always say there's people that you know with multiple sclerosis, and you can be a support to them by sending them a cash app. And you can send my sister a cash app. She never tells me to do this. I'm not saying, and she'll probably be like, Tiff, don't do that because we know more people, and we do. But if you want to be a support to someone who is going through multiple sclerosis and you know where the money is going to, support my sister. You can send her a cash app at $Michelle Lee, and that's MICHAELLELEIGH. I'll put it in my comment section. You can cash app her again at $MICHAELLELEIGH. That's Michelle Lee. Also, if you know someone, a loved one with multiple sclerosis, if you know, send them some money, because I'm telling you, there are times when they need it. Not because they broke, not because they poor, but sometimes if they have to take off to go to a doctor's appointment and they don't have the time to take, that affects them. Or if they have to take off because they're extremely tired and they don't have the time to take, that affects them. If you don't want to send a cash app, or if you don't have the money to do it, don't think that you still can't support her or them, because you can do things like, hey, let me go check on her. Let me cook her a meal. Let me bring her a meal. Let me see if she needs to take Jaden somewhere, or let me see if they need to take their child somewhere, or can I go and assist them with something? Can I help to clean their house? Like, not trying to be a slave or anything like that for them, but there are often times when they need assistance, when people with multiple sclerosis need assistance, and they are not going to tell you. They are not going to tell you that they could not move for 10 minutes because they had an MS hug. What's an MS hug? An MS hug is something that grabs them around their chest area, and they call it a hug, but it's nothing like a hug. We love hugs. Some people are hugging. I'm a hugger. But a MS hug is nothing that you want to have, because it's like a tight squeeze around your chest area, and it squeezes you, and you don't know when you're going to come out of that hug or how it's going to affect your body. Or sometimes they're not going to tell you, I didn't sleep last night because I was up and down, because I got too hot and my vision got blurry, or because I had a restless leg syndrome, because that's something that comes along with multiple sclerosis, or that their weighted blanket that they could put on them, because weighted blankets, some stuff with weight helps people with multiple sclerosis when their nerves are flaring up. But that weighted blanket is also hot. So now my nerves are calming down, but now I'm hot, so I can't see. They're not going to tell you that. Or they're not going to tell you that I don't know why I don't feel like getting out of bed, or I don't know why I'm suicidal, or I don't know why I've cried all day today because I'm normally a chipper person. They're not going to tell you that. So you're not going to know. So to be around, to be present for someone who has multiple sclerosis, I'm not just talking Ashley now. I'm talking about anybody that you know. And some people may not have those symptoms at all, but it's still good to know that those symptoms can happen, those flare ups can happen. They're not going to tell you that they're nervous, that they can't walk, or how embarrassing it is to be a young man who has to walk with a cane and a walker, or a young lady who can't sustain her job because her hands shake so much that when she's working at a bank counting money, she can't sustain, or she can't keep up, or she's always dropping something. So now she can't work. And then you think about disability. Lord, I'm on a roll. This was not supposed to be my whole tips talk, but we here now. Or the fact that they say, okay, you have multiple sclerosis, so maybe you can get on disability. Or the fact that you get denied for disability 2 to 3 times, and if you can work enough, that you're not going to gain that disability. Or then you got to kind of try to figure out, how do I get my disability and still work? It's a lot. Having this autoimmune disease called multiple sclerosis is a whole lot. And I'm telling you, the warriors and the champions that I know make it look easy, and it's not. So be there, be supportive, be aware, be loving, be kind. Don't make everything about MS. Don't, oh, how you feeling? I know I was, see, listen, y'all, I can talk about me. I can't talk about nobody else, but let me tell y'all, I was the type that I wanted to check every morning, like, hey, how you doing? You okay? You, that's not what they want. They want to live a normal life. You okay? And it's a fine line to figuring out, to ask how you're doing, if you're okay, and to ask if you need anything. They're not dying. So they just want you there. They want you to be a part. They want you to be aware. And I do periodically now. I'll be like, oh, what's up, Ash? How's your body feeling? What's going? Have you had any flare ups? Because she ain't gonna tell me. Jaden gonna tell me though. Have you had any flare ups? So you can ask, periodically, did you flare up? How's your body feeling? What's going on with that? So yeah, that's the whole multiple sclerosis. And because it's Women's Appreciation Month, let me just highlight some women that have been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. A few of those women recently diagnosed, and some not so much. But Jamie Lynn Seeger, she's an actress. She played on Sopranos. She played Meadow on The Sopranos. She was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. Selma Blair was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 2018. She's an actress. Christina Applegate was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis just as like 2021. Um, and one of her symptoms was numbness in the feet and legs, and she battles that now. Selma Blair, hers took her down so much that she had problems with her speech and she couldn't even speak. He is not a woman, but Montel Williams, he was a champion for multiple sclerosis, and he got his in the 90s. And if you don't know who Montel Williams is, he's a talk show host. And let me tell you, one of my favorites, I told you we were going to talk about multiple sclerosis, women, and Music Appreciation Month, because March is Music Appreciation Month. So as we go on to talk about Music Appreciation Month, one of my absolute favorite singers, the incomparable Tamia Hill, was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis back in 2003. You may know Tamia for her hits like "You Put a Move on My Heart" with Quincy Jones, "So Into You," "Stranger in My House," my favorite, "Officially Missing You," and "I Can't Get Enough of You," or "Can't Get Enough of You." That's the, y'all know the song. Uh, 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 Everybody doing a line dance too that they messing up. She was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis back in 2003. Now, although she is not a spokesperson for multiple sclerosis, what she did say on a quote that I saw from Essence Magazine, she did say she encourages everybody, like I always say, to know your body. And if it's something that's wrong with your body, to keep on going to the doctor until you get a diagnosis of what is going on, because if you don't, you'll never know. And that's why a lot of people in the African American culture go undetected for multiple sclerosis, because either we're not going to the doctor or we're not going to keep going. We stop at the first no. So I thought that was a fun fact that my favorite singer, Tamia, to tie everything in and bring it full circle, was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis 11 years ago. Tamia married the basketball player who was one of my favorites from the 90s, Grant Hill, and they have had a long marriage. They are, we don't want to talk too much about couples goals and black love, because baby, y'all know what's been going on with black love and all that stuff. But Tamia and Grant Hill have been together for a long, 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 long time. And and she's had multiple. I missed her when she came in February, but I think she's going to be in Baltimore sometime in April, and I'm trying to go see Tamia in April. Speaking of Baltimore, did y'all hear about what happened to the bridge, the Francis Scott Bridge? That is so sad. They were there. They did manage to rescue 6 out of the 10. I mean, 4 out of the 8 people that were on the bridge. If you don't know about it, you can look it up. But the bridge collapsed. The boat hit the bridge. And the thing about the Baltimore Bridge and where they were, that harbor, that was for tourism. A lot of things, trade, a lot of things came in through that tunnel. And I ain't gonna talk about, because y'all know Tiffany a low key conspiracist, so I ain't gonna get into that. But let's keep everybody who was affected by the crash on the bridge falling down in Baltimore. Let's keep them in our thoughts and definitely in our prayers as we go on to talk a little bit more about Women's History Month and Women's Appreciation Month. I would like to give a shout out. I've been talking about my mama the whole night, so y'all know I want to shout out my mother, the Honorable LaWanda Vincent Tatum. She handles her position as the mayor with so much dignity, so much class, and so much grace. I'm proud of my mom, and I just wanted to let her know publicly that I'm proud of her. And every year for like the last 3 years, me and my family, the women in my family, we've been getting on and doing a live for Women's Appreciation Month, but we were not able to do it this month. But I want to take the time to tell the women in my family, like Tanisha Coleman, that's my little cousin, even though she's like, what, Nene about to be 27? Even though she's 27, she's still my little cousin. How proud I am of her. Nene has 2 girls of her own. And let me tell you, I know it ain't easy being a mommy. I'm not a mommy yet, but I know it's not easy. But the way she does with her girls, she does a good job being a mom, and she works. And I want to take the time to shout out my little cousin, Tanisha Coleman, aka Nene, for doing an amazing job. Uh, just being a woman in general. I know life happens, and sometimes it can knock us off our feet and have us thinking, like, "Well, how did I get here?" Like Deborah Cox, how did you get here? And oftentimes we are not celebrated for the strength and the courage that we have to be mothers, to be women that go out and work and take care of house and home. But tonight, I salute my girl. And we don't talk all the time. I ain't all in her face and in her business, and she ain't in mine. But just like anybody else, when it comes to my family, 10 toes down, I got her back. And I just, I pray that she continues to grow and mature. I can't believe she's a mom. Like watching her grow up from a little girl to being where she is now. So I salute my little cousin Tanisha Coleman. And next, I'm gonna talk about her mama, Kalisha Hines. There's it, Coleman. Carlisha Hines. Carlisha's birthday is gonna be tomorrow. So if y'all know my cousin Carlisha Hines, send her a happy birthday shout out tomorrow on her Facebook page, on her Instagram page, and tell her that Tiffany told y'all to. Now y'all know with Carlisha, we were raised. Me and my cousins, we were raised like siblings. So with Carlisha being my cousin, like she's 9 years older than me. I always looked up to her, and when I was a little girl, I always wanted to be around her. I wanted to do everything with her, but she didn't let me. Because I mean, she was like, what? I'm 9, so she would be 18 when I was 9 or 10. But I always wanted to do things with her. I always looked up to her. I always thought she was so beautiful. And with Carlisha, I'm not gonna tell you her age, but she's the type of woman that make you be like, really, you that old? She has a beauty and a grace about her. She has so much wisdom and knowledge, and I'm so proud of her. So tomorrow again is her birthday. Her name's Carlisha Hines, and if you're a Facebook friend, give her or Instagram friend, give her some love, send her some shout outs. I mean, hey, cash up her too, or send her some flowers, or just give her some love. And tell her Tiffany said so. I'm so proud of the things that Carlisha has done. She obtained her master's degree last year. Um, all the while being a mom. She started over because Nene is her daughter. Nene is 27, and she has like a Trent is 12. So she started all over again, and she is an active mom. She allows her daughter to, her little, well, she's not a little girl, but she allows Trinity to dance. Trin is an amazing dancer and now an athlete. She was a cheerleader at the middle school. Trin runs track, and she was also the sixth grade princess. And all of that, mommies, y'all know you are involved in every step of the way. And Kalisha does it, and she makes it look easy. She doesn't miss a beat. She does not miss a step. And when she can't, she puts the people in place. That's what we're here for, have the to help one another. She puts the people in place um, that she needs to help her get the job done. So shout out to Carlisha Hines again. Tomorrow is her birthday. Tell her happy birthday, y'all. Tell her Tiffany said it. And then I done talked about my sister all night. And y'all know, period, poo. When it comes to my sister and my brother, I don't play. But because this is Women's Appreciation Month, shout out to my little sister, even though she's a hard grown woman now, Ashley. Beautiful mother, beautiful young lady, personality of gold, heart of gold. To know her is to love her. And I'm proud of the woman that I see maturing and growing in front of my face. Like, it's just, that's my baby, y'all. She was my baby. Like, I practically raised her. And to see her growing into the woman that she is, I'm so proud to call her my sister. I'm proud of my brother too, but it's Women's Appreciation Month. So I'm so proud of my sister. She, oftentimes I stop and I look at how she mommies, how she does Jaden. And I'm like, some things, I'm like, it's unconventional, like, story, real quick. So we went to the beach last year, me, her, and Jay. We went to Ocean City, and Jaden was out. He just learned how to swim. Jaden just learned how to swim, but she let him go out into the ocean, and yeah, I'm like, Ash, you ain't, you not gonna, Jaden way out there. She was like, he got it. She was like, I taught him, I want him, even though I might have nerves and fears about things, I don't want to put my nervousness and fears onto my son. So I'm going to just let him explore. He knows how far to go. He knows not to go too far. And if I see him going too far, then I'm going to, of course, go get him. But I'm not going to be over top of him. And I thought that was a great tip, because me as a mommy, in the water, oh girl, no, baby, no, I can't do it. But she often lets him, explore. And just because she doesn't want him to have those type of fears and anxieties that people can have when we press upon, as a parent, we press upon our own fears and our own anxieties onto our children. So I thought that was a great life hack. So shout out to my sister, the Ashley Michelle, MS Warrior, Overcomer Champion. And like I said, if you do want to bless her Cash App for Multiple Sclerosis Awareness Month, it is Michelle, MICHAELLEIGH, Michelle Lee. And I can't go without talking about my girl, Chrissy Dunson. I was going to say Hines. Chrissy Dunson is not like my sister. She is my sister. We are first cousins, but definitely raised like sisters, to the point where me and my sister, we don't argue and bicker too often, like very seldom. But me and Chrissy, we're going to go head on like sisters sometimes. And then it'll be like, well, you want some of this or you want that? I'm sorry. And we make up. But I love Chrissy. I think she's such a beautiful woman. I think she's so beautiful, and she doesn't even know it. But she knows that I think she's beautiful, but I don't think she knows how beautiful that she is. And I absolutely love Chrissy. I love watching her come into her own, even though she's like, what, 3 years younger than me? Yeah, she's 3 years younger than me. I've had the pleasure of watching her grow up and come into her own and find her way. She's a great wife. She's an example of what a wife could, should, and can be to a husband. And I'm proud of her. So shout out to Chrissy Dunson. Thank you for being there for me. We talk like every day, and when we don't, it's like she called me earlier, and I think I was asleep. Like, she called me yesterday twice, and if she don't get me, she gonna call Kimon and be like, "Where Tiffany at?" But we talk all we I can talk to Chrissy every day, all day, and then talk to her the next day, all day. So I love my girls and my family so much. So shout out to all of those beautiful women in my family for Women's Appreciation Month, and my aunt Renee, who just celebrated a birthday, who gives so much wisdom. Aunt Turkey, she is in the nursing home, but she's doing well, and she knows everything about everybody. She can be like, yeah. She said, Tiff, you hear about the shooting that happened up in your way? And I'm like, where? She said in DC on in Northeast. And I'm like, Aunt Turkey, how you know that? When I say she knows everything, she does not miss a beat. And even learning and growing from her, I just love my auntie. And my other aunts are no longer with me. So I cherish my relationship with my Aunt Renee a little bit more because I don't have any of my other aunts at the moment. So shout out to the women in my family, to my Aunt Val, who's actually my cousin up here in Clinton. Shout out to her. Shout out to Tiara, who's an amazing mom. That's her daughter. And I'll just keep going on and on. My cousin Mary, my cousin Martha. Mary is, I don't know where my cousin Mary is, but my cousin Martha is in LA, and Anne Marie, my cousin, and all her sisters. I just love the ladies in my family. We come from good stock. Like, we have lawyers and judges and just amazing people in my fam, people in business, entrepreneurs. Shout out to y'all. But before I go, I've kept y'all a little bit over an hour. To my girls, my HBICs, those are my honest, beautiful, intelligent, and charming sisters until pushed otherwise. Those are girls y'all saw me on the picture with. Well, I had my purple on and I was, giving a little bit over Christmas break. And I had a few girls who were not on that picture, but to Tanisha, to Tamara, to Dominique, Iris, Angie. Did I miss somebody? Tanisha. Let me do it in order in which I met them. Tamara, Iris, Tanisha, Angela, and Dominique. Those are my girls. Those are the girls that are going to hit for me. They ride for me. We have been friends almost everybody with the exception of Angie and Dominique. We have been friends for over 20 years, and Angela and Dominique are coming up on 20 years of friendship. And if you don't have some people around you that's been in your life for 20 years, those girls that can tell you, like, girlfriend, you need to get your life together. Where your book at? Or those friends that'll be like, you was wrong for that. Or those friends that'll be like, oh, we ride. Oh, they did what? Because we about to ride or die. Because each one of those girls in my life represent that. Like, I got a girl for everything. I got a girl that's a hitter. I got a girl that who needs, if we need to shoot, is a shooter. I got a girl that when we need to go to Christ and be like, Shanta Hadapan, that's gonna pray with me in the spirit, that's gonna battle in the spirit. I got a girl that's gonna give me a laugh. I got a girl that's gonna give me a beat. I got a girl. They like my girlfriends are a wide array of girls, and I got a girl that's gonna give me a laugh. I got a girl that's gonna keep me level headed. Sometimes it could be all of those girls in one, and sometimes it may be one aspect from each girl. But I love my girls. And I would do anything for my honest, beautiful, intelligent, and charming girlfriends for 20 plus years. I salute y'all. They are mommies, they are entrepreneurs, they're hard workers, they're overcomers, they're resilient. I love those girls. And we may not talk all the time, but I do know if it's some shenanigans going on early in the morning and I need to do a group call, they're gonna answer and we gonna laugh, and we probably be a little bit late for work, or we might be on time, because some of us last Wednesday when I had to call, like, what is this? What is this I see on the book? Some of us were on time for work. Some of us were a little early, and some of us were late because we were on there kikiing early in the morning about the foolery. But I love my girls. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for your friendship. Thank you from we might not talk as much as we used to, but y'all know if you ever need anything, I'm here. And I know if I ever need anything from them, they are there for me. And to my last set of girlfriends, now I have girlfriends in other aspects of life, like in teaching. I made some friends with some amazing women in teaching. I'm not going to even start calling their names. I made some friends with some amazing women in business, that when it comes as far as producing, directing, writing, anything in media, I made some friends there. But this last shout out goes to three girls who went from being complete strangers, people that I did not know at all, to family. And those are my sisters from four girls. And those are my sisters from Bowie State University. I mean, Bowie brought us together, but love has kept us together. And that goes out to my girl, Sherelle Brew, who's coming up on her 1 year anniversary, married to her boo thing. Jaree Dorman, who is doing her thing in the Smithsonian world. She works at the African American History Museum, and she has a piece that has been, she's a photographer. So if you're looking for some pictures to be done, check out Jaree Dorman. But she has a piece in a museum, just got put in the museum last week or week before last. And I'm gonna put it in my messenger or in my box where you can see her piece at. It's beautiful. She did a great job. And Jaree, I'm so proud of you. To my girlfriend Ashley, I love you so much. Like, in my life, I can't go anywhere without having an Ashley and a Michael. And I just love Ashley Maxwell. Shout out to her. She's beautiful. She does hair, y'all, even though that ain't her full time thing. If you see her hair, she actually did her own micro locks, and they look great. And I miss my friends. I need to see them. We haven't all been together since probably Sherelle's wedding. And to the Miss Kelly Bethia, Kelly was there with me before the rest of the girls. Well, actually, I met Jaree first. I met Jaree at Bible study, but I became closer with Jaree's sister, one of her triplets, Janae, before I became real close with Ree. But me and Kelly, Lord have mercy, we got some stuff. If them walls of 210 could talk, baby. And it won't even too crazy. But we have held each other up and been the standard of excellence for one another for a long time. And I just want to shout her out. Shout out Kelly for doing her thing. You can catch her on Rolling Martin Unfiltered, because my girls do amazing things. So, to my sisters from the illustrious Bowie State University, thank you for being there for me. Thank you for praying with me. Thank you for crying with me. Thank you for giving me money when, like, putting coins together when we didn't have no money to eat. Thank you. Thank you for being my shoulder. Thank you for being my secret keeper. Thank you for being my gatekeeper. Thank you for them fun nights after college. Thank you for those those good memories. Thank you so much. I love my girls. And to all of the women this month, as we end Women's Appreciation Month, I charge you to do something for yourself. We only got a few days left, but to do something for yourself that makes you feel good, whether that is laying in the bed reading a book, whether that is taking a nice hot bath, whether that is getting your hair, nails, and feet done, whether that's taking a vacation, a mini vacay, whether that's having peace and quietness, whether that's getting you something really good to eat, whether that's going to the gym, whether that is exfoliating your skin. Take out the time to do something amazing and special for yourself as we close out this month of Women's Appreciation Month, because you do deserve it. And if no one else has told you, my sister, you're beautiful, you're loved, you are important. I love everything about you, from the click of your heels to the swing of your hair to the sway of your hips. Your curves are beautiful. That fupa is okay because somebody love it, and that somebody is you. Those skinny legs are okay because, hey, that's who you are. Those four eyes that sometimes you still can't see out of your glasses, it's all right because that's who you are. That is the makeup of who you are, you know? So I appreciate you. I love you. And if no one else has said it, you deserve the world, girl. And I hope that my homegirl Tamara Baskerville put it out today. Send that girl through, was it 300, 2 or 300 to get your nails and your hair, your facial and your nails and your feet done. And girlies, I hope your cat, if you're from the Brunswick County area and you saw it, and maybe if you're not, I hope your cash app dinged and that change hit the floor and somebody blessed your cash app with that to get yourself to get your nails, your hair, your feet, whatever, your facial done. And even if they didn't, it's okay. Because what nobody else can do for us, we can make do for ourselves. And as we close out the month of Women's Appreciation Month, I charge you to, I said, go ahead and do something good for yourself. But go ahead, baby, and follow your dreams. And I'm telling you, and I'm telling myself that it is time out for mediocrity. It is time out for procrastination. It's time out to start and stop, to start and stop, because there is someone who is waiting for exactly what you have to give. And I don't care if 1,000,001 people are doing it. I don't care if you see it on every TikTok channel that somebody is making a candle. You make your candles. I don't care if it's a consultant firm and they're doing exactly what you're doing. You start it. You do what you do. And I'm encouraging you as I encourage myself because it is high time and it is time out to stop doing or stop being great. It is time out for that. Go ahead and as we end this Women's Appreciation Month and going forward for the rest of your life, go out, do what you love to do, take the world by storm. It's no time to recluse or back or back down because there is something inside of you and in me. I'm telling it to myself too that the world needs, and it's only you can do it. So go be great. I love, like I always say, I love you, but God loves you more. Thanks for late nighting it with me. But listen, y'all, I'm hungry. You ain't even ate. So yeah, don't judge me. Judge your mother because I am eating late. And girl, I fixed some steak, y'all. I fixed some steak and some twice baked potato. But I don't know. I might just eat me a little salad tonight and eat that for lunch tomorrow. Oh, by the way, I'm going to Spa World. I'm going to Spa World. I don't know if I'm going to go tomorrow or if I'm going to go Monday, but I'm going to Spa World. And if y'all have never been, I encourage you all to go. It ain't for the faint of heart because you gotta be naked. But if you don't like Spa World, if you're in the DMV area, they have King Spa. That's kind of like Spa World. But I'm telling you, it's nothing like going to get that rest and relaxation before we take these before I take these babies on by storm. But anyway, I always say I love you, but God loves you more. And I'm out. Bye.